and here we go. We have liftoff. Propulsion continues to be normal.
R68 chamber pressure looks good.
Following up. Roger, Atlantis.
Water towers fly! Yes!
Tango down to nominal.
Flight downside FD off. Bring in FD off. Off. It's orange!
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Decollage.
Look at this!
Put that in the big bag, Eagle.
343 unfolds to go.
Indeed.
We rise together, back to the moon and beyond.
There's methane to be igniting in the flare, correct?
Yikes. You dead? Sure. We don't need any more of these.
Good morning, good evening, whatever time it is for you around the world. We are live for another Starlink launch. It's another Starlink, yay! Internet satellite's good. I'm Jack Byer with NSF. I'll be hosting the stream today, and as always, we have someone out in the field. I'm seeing chat saying that there's an echo. All right, well, we will work on that. Give us just a second. And of Max Evans, who will be, I don't know if you want to give that away yet. Max, you're out in the field with a camera, right?
I was just going to say, maybe we should keep that under wraps for a little bit. But yes, I am. Good morning, everybody. Those 3 a.m. Starlink missions just hit differently, though. You know what I'm saying?
They do indeed. They really do. It's meme worthy. So thank you, Max, as always, for rolling out there and setting up the camera. And also on comms today in the studio, we have Trevor. I don't think I've ever actually said your name out loud. Trevor Sesnick, am I saying that right?
Yes, Trevor says it.
Hey. Well, that is our cast of commentators for today. As usual, we're doing a Q&A sort of thing here, so if you have any questions about tonight's launch, just pop it into chat, type at NASASpaceflight, and we will see your question pop up. Cool. So let's get started and talk about this launch. It's a Falcon 9 launching for the 9th time from Slick 40 at Canaveral Space Force Station, and we are launching Starlink satellites once again into orbit. Trevor, how many Starlink satellites are we launching today? Bo?
Yes, so there are 52 Starlink V1.5 satellites going up today into Starlink's 5th shell. So the initial orbit will be 229 by 339 kilometers at 43 degrees. And then they'll slowly raise up to a 530 kilometer circular orbit at 43 degrees.
Got it. So we often get questions about where this will be visible from. It's heading on a southeasterly trajectory, right, Max?
Yes, sir. So if you are based in South Florida, in particular, like Fort Lauderdale, Miami, I would get outside if I were you and enjoy the light show.
What, speaking of enjoying the light show, what is the weather situation out there? Were you looking at clouds? You got a nice starry sky. What do we got, Max?
You know, nights don't get much more perfect than this in Florida in the summer. Right now we have a cloudless sky and currently moonless for the time being. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And there is no wind. It is absolutely crystal clear out tonight. It is absolutely gorgeous. And last time I checked, the weather forecast was at 90% go.
Excellent. Well, that sounds like a perfect night to launch a rocket. I love it. Let's see here. I think chat, we're chat saying 5x5 now. I think we're 5x5 now. I think we're good. Sorry about that. Let's see. Clayton Newland becoming a Red Team member. Thank you, Clayton, for doing that. We really appreciate it. And all of our members. All right, Trevor. Tell us some more about what is going up on the 511 mission. We already kind of mentioned the number of sats and the trajectory and whatnot, but big picture me here. I mean, we've got a question from Abby in chat saying, what does it do, the satellite? So,
yeah, sure. So this,
if you will.
Yeah, so these satellites are part of Starlink's constellation, which is a global internet constellation. However, unlike other global internet constellations, it's in a very low Earth orbit, so around 530 kilometers. So these provide internet to people anywhere in the world with low speed and low latency, high speed. And this is a pretty game-changing it's a very game-changing constellation because of this capability where you can be on an airplane and have significantly better internet now, or at the North Pole or anywhere. So, yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, I know we joke, I joke certainly, but it's another Starlink, but Starlink is doing a cool thing. And, it's definitely tricky with radio astronomy and visual astronomy from the ground, but it's fulfilling an important service, right?
Yeah, very much so. And the good news is that SpaceX has worked with astronomers to try to reduce the impacts of the constellation. NSF has actually had some very insightful interviews with Jonathan McDowell about that, so I would go watch our previous live streams and read our articles. But yeah, a very good thing that SpaceX is doing.
Alrighty, Max, you got me all hyped up with the weather report there. Like, this sounds like it's going to be a really good one. Hopefully, especially good given what you're planning. I don't know. I kind of want to reveal it. I don't know. I feel like you should.
I do too, but like the hype should be at least built for a little bit longer, maybe until the T-minus 20 minute event, then we'll give it away.
Okay. All right. Deal. What we were sort of obliquely talking about there is we have something a little special planned, or hopefully planned for this stream. But we'll see what ends up happening, if it pans out or not. But I'll leave it there. How about that? But there you go, chat. There's your official teaser to stay tuned for a little bit later in the stream. You may notice that this is a little bit of a different view than we normally would have for a launch out of Slick 40. And that is for a reason. Hint, hint. All right.
For a singular reason.
Yeah. Let's see here. I'm looking for some questions. Chat, don't forget, if you have questions, feel free to ask them. We will try and answer them. Let's see here. We have one from Robert Backhouse. Here we go. They're asking, oh gosh. Okay. If people are just tuning in to like see a rocket launch and they're not kind of following all of this stuff, they might not know what we're talking about. So, first off, this is about the cursed nozzle. I'm like trying to wrap my head around how to talk about it without just yelling about how much I hate the cursed nozzle. But on the second stage of Falcon 9, there is a single Merlin engine, and that engine, up until very recently, has had an engine nozzle that looked a specific way, and now they are using a much shorter version. Is that fair to say, Trevor?
Yeah, so they're currently flying as mentioned, the two MVAC nozzles. One is the regular long one that's being flown on today's mission, and they've been flying with a shorter one. The shorter nozzle is just used on missions where the Falcon 9 has extra performance available. So they're able to use roughly a quarter, I want to say, of the material on the nozzle, meaning they can produce more engines, or more engine bells, meaning they can launch more. So when they don't need the full performance, they're just getting rid of part of the nozzle. But yeah, it does look truly atrocious.
It really does. But good. That is not what's flying on today's mission, which is good to hear. So we don't have to be subjected to the horrible images of that nozzle. I'm just having fun, like dunking on it at this point. But the question, I digress, from Robert Backhouse is the shortened bell still made out of niobium, or is it made out of something else? Or you said it's just shortened? Is the difference there? So they're just using less material. It's not like an entirely new material. Do we even know?
To the best of public knowledge, it is just a shorter, not a version of the nozzle that they were already flying. So same materials, same everything.
Got it. And then the final part of this is a good question, Robert. Thank you for this one. The final part of Robert's question is where the bell is cut off, where it would normally start glowing, do they need any heat resistant alloys? So I guess that's kind of covering what you just said. It's the same material.
Yeah, the heat flux should be the same, so I can't imagine they would have to worry about cooling.
Cool deal. I can't believe I just did that. Clayton, thank you for the support. Right there, they said, how fast can ULA return a launch pad for flight? This is a tough one. I'm not like super.
That's a hard question because I'm quite confident in saying that ULA's launch cadence is not limited by their pad turnaround times.
Yeah,
and their
100%.
launch cadence is just so slow at this point that they're not really they haven't had 2 back-to-back missions that recently. However, I know they have in the past supported launches just several weeks apart from one another. So I don't know for sure, but that would be my best guess, is on the order of a couple to a few weeks.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I would completely agree with that assessment. A lot of times they're not launching rapidly enough that, the pad turnaround is a constraint for them.
Yeah, and ULA also has the unique thing of having to switch their launch pads between completely different vehicles. Like right now it's the 41, there's a Vulcan core out where they just did the flight readiness firing. And then I believe the next launch from that pad was going to be OFT with Starliner and Atlas, so they have to change out a bunch for that. So it's a unique situation.
Nifty. Let's see here. Max, do you have any thoughts about the shortened nozzle, or are you busy right now?
I mean, I always have thoughts, but honestly, as much as the stubby nozzle is maybe, I guess one could say, aesthetically challenging to look at, if it works and SpaceX, holy mother of Lord, I am seeing bioluminescence in the water right now.
That's cool.
Where were we? Oh yes, stubby nozzle. My apologies. If it saves SpaceX a lot of money and time in manufacturing, and it still works about the same, so functionally it's still beautiful. So
All right.
and that's what matters. So
Yeah, there you go. Let's see here. Anush, thank you for the super chat. They say, Trevor, what is your favorite Falcon 9 booster? But more importantly, we don't have to go to the rest of that question. But then they say, Trevor Max Jack Fan Club. Thank you for that, Anush. Trevor, what's your favorite
Hey.
Falcon 9 booster?
For me, it still has to be B1049. The way that its ending was the best Falcon 9 booster ending ever on the in-flight abort test.
I'm still mad I didn't get to see in the in-flight abort test. I was there. Stupid cloud.
Yeah.
Stupid cloud got me. But yes,
Yeah, I mean,
that is a good answer.
I don't think any booster is going to go, or hopefully no other booster is going to go out in that style.
Hopefully not. Yes.
Right. Okay, I think we're about to tease something here. Hey, look, it's the moon. Max, while we are looking at this beautiful shot you are bringing us of the moon and Falcon 9,
Mm-hmm.
do you have a favorite Falcon 9 booster? Is it about to be tonight's?
It's not tonight's. My favorite Falcon 9 booster, I believe, to this point would have to be beloved B1058, the booster that took Bob and Doug to space back in 2020. And it's, I think, the only Falcon 9 booster in their fleet at the moment with the lovely logo on it. So it's also one of, I believe, 2 or 3 boosters they currently have in their fleet holding at 15 flights. So I think it's their one of their leading veterans right now.
Yeah,
Nice.
It's one of 2 boosters in SpaceX's fleet that's flown 15 times. And I'll add something that's cool about B1058 is it actually lands on the drone ship 90 degrees or 180 degrees rotated from all of the other boosters because SpaceX wants to show their logo when it's coming to port instead of NASA's. At least that's what I've heard the reason is. It could just be something that's actually different on the booster.
That's hilarious. Wow, Molly Miriams, I hope I'm saying your name right. Thank you so much, Molly. That is amazing. 20 Red Team memberships gifted. Thank you so much. If you just got a membership from Molly, be sure to thank them in the chat. The membership program rules. Let me toot our own horn for a second here. The membership program rules. We have a Discord. We have all kinds of members-only content that goes up on the YouTube channel. And we've got all kinds of cool perks. Like hey, look, here's some emoji. I'm going to throw, we need a Starlink emoji. You guys. I'm going to throw some, here, I'll throw some star hoppers in chat because I can, because I'm a member. So seriously, thank you, Molly, so much for gifting the memberships, because we want people to experience the cool perks that we have for our members. And if you want more NASA Spaceflight, that's the way to get it. And it really helps us do what we do. So, gosh, this is a cool picture of the moon, or video of the moon. Yeah, this is I'm getting a little excited here with about 24 minutes to go until liftoff. We're getting close to the 20-minute vent. So we should be ready for that. But I'm just going to take a moment here and never mind. Yes, thank you. I'm just going to take a moment here and appreciate this view while I look for another question from our lovely viewers. But wow, what a beautiful shot. Let's see here. And thank you again, Molly. Let's see here. Trevor, this one's probably for you. Michael is asking, how many satellites does SpaceX have in orbit right now? It's in excess of a couple thousand, right? Like is it over 3,000, over 4,000?
Yeah, in orbit, there are currently 4,217 Starlink satellites. So after today, they'll have 4,269, if my math is correct.
Nice. That's a lot of satellites.
Largest satellite constellation ever.
I somehow knew, by like several orders of magnitude, I somehow knew you would know the answer to that. Thank you. Good question. Let's see here. That moon do be rising, though.
It do be.
Let's see here. Looking for some more questions. Bideford's asking, are we still on for a launch tonight? Are we on hold? Nope, we're still on. Weather is green as far as we know. Coming up on the T-minus 20-minute event, there is propellants flowing into the rocket right now, so we are getting ever closer to launch as that beautiful moon rises into the sky. We have a question here about the white boxes. What's up with the white boxes? This is a view from the port, right?
Yeah, it's from Fleet Cam, and I am not sure what the white boxes are. Max may be able to answer better.
Oh boy, toss me on the spot there, aren't you, Trevor?
Yeah, I mean, material comes in and out of the port. It's an active port, so sometimes there's a cargo ship there, sometimes a cruise ship goes by, so it just looks like some material. It looks like maybe even lumber or construction equipment of some kind.
I was just gonna say, yeah, I think that's a lumber holding yard. Because one thing to keep in mind, of course, is Port Canaveral is not a port built specifically for SpaceX marine activities. So, I mean, it is an active port, I believe. At the time of this stream, it is currently the busiest and most active cruise port in the world, at least in the U.S., if not the world. I could be wrong. Somebody fact check me.
Gotcha. Yeah. So there you go. There's the answer to that. Coming up, about a minute to go to that T-minus 20-minute event. We should probably see it on Fleet Cam. But yeah, that's we'll probably see it from your cam too, Max.
You might now, but it's getting pretty high now, thankfully, because moons do rise like that, you know.
They do. Moon goes up, moon goes down. Can't explain that. Let's see here. Anusha's asking, what missions has this booster flown, Trevor?
Very good question. So this is actually a somewhat unique booster because its first mission was a Starlink mission. So it's only one of two boosters in the fleet that have done that. So it first flew Starlink Group 415, and then it flew SES-22, and then Starlink Group 4-26 in August of last year, and then Starlink Group 4-35 in September of last year, and then Haikudu R Mission 1, which went to the moon, which actually, if I recall correctly, that just attempted landing on the lunar surface and failed. And then it launched the Amazonas Nexus satellite in February of this year, and then launched CRS-27, and then Starlink Group 6-2, and then tonight will be Starlink Group 511 on its 9th flight.
Wow. So yeah, it's quite a diverse manifest that this booster has lifted into space.
Yes, certainly fewer Starlink missions than some other boosters.
I love that Starlink is like the pasture that they send Falcon 9 out to, when it gets in its old age. There you go. We are at T-minus 19 and 23 seconds-ish, and you can just see some wisps of vapor from that 20-minute vent. And Alex and our... Go ahead.
We can just barely see it over the river over here. So yeah, it's happening.
Excellent. And Alex in our back channel is reporting that Stage 2 RP-1 load is complete. That's Rocket Propellant 1, which is kerosene. Just really fancy kerosene, basically. It's kerosene that's putting on airs. But yeah, as we're under 20 minutes now, let's talk a bit about trajectory. This is the heading the rocket is going to head out on for tonight's launch. Again, we said southeasterly. So, man... Has anyone seen footage from like cell phone or what have you, or from a photographer that's in out east there over on those islands? Like that seems like it would be a really beautiful spot to watch from.
I have not, but
which
that would be
islands?
awesome.
I'm going to betray my lack of geographical knowledge right now. What is this? The Bahamas?
Oh, there's been footage from the Bahamas for like a polar trajectory or southeast trajectories that have launched at around twilight per se, and people down there have seen some really impressive jellyfish. But that's about as far as I know.
Alrighty. Well, if you're wondering where this is going to be visible from, this kind of will give you a handy guide. So there you go. That is the trajectory for tonight. Trevor, what's the like exact inclination?
It's going to 43 degrees.
Alrighty, 43 degrees. Cool deal.
And I don't think we've talked about it yet, but today's mission, following liftoff and stage separation, the first stage is going to land on Just Read the Instructions.
Oh, right. Thank you. It's not a return to launch site tonight. There is a drone ship, and it is Just Read the Instructions. Good call. So that was what you saw on the map there for the touchdown point for the booster. That's where JRTI will be. Out in the Atlantic. 17 minutes to go. At what point, Max, do we just say the thing? I mean, it's your baby.
Well, the T-minus 20-minute event already happened, so I guess we can talk about it now. For those who have seen the pictures and the video, and put two and two together, come launch time from where we are standing right now. Can you guys hear trains?
We just heard a small toot, but it's fine. Keep going.
A small toot. Sorry. Immaturity showing. So yeah, come launch time, from our vantage point right here, the moon will be directly over the launch pad. And if all goes well, and we did our calculations right, Falcon 9 will fly directly in front of the moon, and we will get some really, really nice imagery.
Excellent. Well, fingers crossed we pull that off. So if you guys watch our streams regularly, you might be like, what's up with this view? This is not the normal sort of view that we have where you can see the whole rocket on the pad. Because we're trying something a little bit different for tonight's Starlink launch. There's so many Starlink launches. It's 3 a.m. We figured, what the heck, we might as well throw a Hail Mary and try and get a really cool special shot. So fingers crossed, Max, that you nail it. I have faith. I'm sure you're gonna nail it. But it can be tricky,
Fingers
right,
crossed.
to line these things up, because the rocket can it can alter its trajectory depending on winds and whatnot, so that it might not go exactly where you expect it to go.
Exactly. And the higher the moon or the sun, depending on what you're trying to shoot for a transit, the higher the celestial object is into the sky, the more difficult it is to predict accuracy, because of course, the higher up in the sky Falcon 9 goes, the more the flight path is subject to change via or because of winds or flight deviations or such. So
Right.
Tonight, hopefully, it should be pretty low. I mean, the moon just came up, so tonight should be or should have a really strong chance at it tonight.
All right. Well, fingers crossed. Thank you again for going out there and trying to pull this off for us. I'm super excited to see if it works. All right. Alex is reporting in our back channel that Stage 2 locks load is underway. So there you go. We are progressing smoothly towards a launch. Just under 15 minutes to go here. And chat is like moon, moon, moon. They're all about this. This is great.
Excellent.
I'm glad you're along for the ride, chat. You are softly chanting moon in the background as we march towards this launch. March. I can't talk tonight. Let's see here. David Dean, thank you for the super chat. We really appreciate y'all coming out for a middle of the night Starlink launch, and we try to switch things up and keep things interesting, and this is one of the ways we do that. So we're getting something a little different tonight. David Dean says, my favorite NSF stream is the Inspiration 4, when NSF viewers were donating so much to St. Jude's that Jack and several others were weeping with joy. That was a really good one. That's like one of my very, very favorite streams as well, if not my very favorite. That was a really good one. Thank you, David Dean. Let's see here. Singapore, Jasmine and Co. is asking, where and when does the second stage deorbit? Do we know where the second stage is destined to splash down? Is it like the Indian Ocean or?
Yeah, I believe it's just south of Africa. But let me just double check the exclusion zone real quickly. Yeah, just south of Africa and south of Cape Town in the Indian Ocean.
There we go. Yeah, we've got a graphic on screen. Thank you, Kevin. Cool deal. Good question. Let's see here. What's the next launch we will cover? Transporter 8 tomorrow is tricky. There's no official media access, and you can't really get a good shot of the pad close up at Vandenberg. The closest shot of the pad's like roughly 9 to 11 miles away. So we're not going to do a normal stream for Transporter 8, but viewers of this stream, I'll just let viewers of this stream know that tomorrow we're trying something similar to what we're trying today, except as Max mentioned, the higher something is in the sky, the less likely it is to work, and it's going to be much higher in the sky, but I think we might do a members-only stream for Transporter 8 tomorrow. But yeah, the next launch we will fully stream. I'm not sure whatever's after that.
How's the forecast looking tomorrow over at Vandenberg? Out of curiosity.
Good question. I need to look after this. Trevor, what were you about to say?
I was going to say there are 2 launches next week that will probably cover the Falcon launch Satria from Slick 40, even though that may be delayed a few days. And then currently Delta IV Heavy is supposed to launch next week from the East Coast on NROL 68, which is the second to last Delta IV Heavy launch ever. So that'll definitely be covered as well.
Excellent. Hey, let's do a poll. Hey, NASASpaceflight in chat. Let's do a poll. Do we think Delta Heavy is going to launch on its first try?
Oh dear, that's a dangerous question.
I'm sorry, Max. I know you're out there.
That is
going
a
to be
dangerous question.
setting cameras for that. But yeah, I say yes. The last couple of Deltas I think have been really, really smooth. There was a rough patch there for a little bit where both coasts got like 4 or 5 scrubs in a row for a single ride. Like there's been some tough times with Delta.
Well, the last 2 to fly out of Vandenberg, I think, flew on their first flight attempt on the first day, and that's not been the case for anything on the East Coast here for Delta, unfortunately.
Yeah, I believe after the 2 missions that had a bunch of scrubs, ULA did a lot of pad maintenance and upgrades to try to reduce that. So I think that seemed to work very well so far.
We can hope.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one thing that ULA knows how to do, it's launch rockets. They're very good.
It's true. All right, we are coming up on 10 minutes to go. And we have the poll in chat. I'm going to say first attempt, much success, which is currently winning at 54%. All right, well, as we watch the clock tick down to under 10 minutes, just a quick reminder that we do have a merch store, and we do have metal prints in that merch store, and the final descriptor here is that we have a last chance section of the metal prints section of the store, And the day that this is supposed to end is June 11th. I'm on the West Coast. I'm in California, and it is now June 12th. It's 12:01 a.m. And we haven't taken this down yet because the store guy lives in Europe. And I don't think is awake right now, or, either way, you have one last chance to get some of these really amazing photographs from Nick and all of our other Starbase photographers, or all of our other, not just Starbase photographers, all of our other photographers. I think some of my shots are in the last chance list. Either way, if you want one of these images, if it's not clear already, this is your actual last chance. So yeah, grab one. They're awesome. They come printed directly on metal. They hang on the wall with hardware included in the box. It's super easy. They look great. You don't need a frame or any of that nonsense. So yeah, last chance. Buy prints. Thank you. I will cease my spiel. All right, we've got the moon. We got the rocket. We've got 8 minutes and 40 seconds to go. Let's do this thing. Max, can I get a vibe check right now? Like, how you feeling?
Almost without words, because the moon is almost directly over the launch pad. I'm feeling really good right now.
Yeah, there was like a little low wispy cloud situation when it was rising, but it's like crystal clear right now. So
crystal clear. Yep, it should be. Hopefully we all did the math correct tonight, and she transits. So
here's one way to tell. Are there other photographers around you?
Yes, there are.
All right, excellent. That's kind of a tell, right?
We might have done something right. So
right,
or we all did something wrong. I guess
fair.
Time will tell.
That is true. You never know. Joe, thank you for becoming a Capcom member. We really appreciate that. At Capcom level and above, you get Discord access. We have an awesome Discord. There are so many channels. We have one for Starship, of course. We also have one for small sat launchers, and we have a party chat channel where there's just unbridled chaos. And I mean literally like unbridled chaos. And also just like, chatting and camaraderie, but also chaos. But thank you, Joe, for signing up as a Capcom member. When that Discord access propagates for you, hop in and say hey. Super, super appreciate it. We hope you enjoy all the perks, and in my opinion, Discord is the best perk, so enjoy. Nick, thank you for the super chat. They say so excited. Thank you so much, Nick. 7 minutes to go. All right. I'm getting hyped here. Chat, I don't know if you're excited, but you should be very excited because this is hopefully going to look awesome. All right. Hopefully I didn't jinx it. Max, if I jinxed it, you can blame me. I'm sorry.
I don't think you did because you're not here, and East Coast is still Best Coast. So I'm not sure it's possible for you to jinx it.
Tell me that again in 24 hours.
By the way, we just entered engine chill on the first stage, so the 9 Merlin 1D engines will have a little bit of oxygen flown through them to cool them down ahead of full propellant flow at T-3 seconds.
Right, we can see some venting there from up near the fairing on the strongback.
That venting is not from engine chill. Second stage engine chill doesn't start until after liftoff. This is just on the first stage 9 Merlin 1D engines.
I'm dumb, thank you. Let's see here. Looking for a couple more questions as we get closer. Just under 6 minutes to go. Let's see here. Joel asks, is there a correlation between the exhaust plume, contrail, and max Q? It seems the plume changes or goes away for a little bit of time, or during or near this time. So I think around that time, and or around when the vehicle goes supersonic, there is like I don't even know what you would call it, an atmospheric effect where the air pressure is, the air pressure lowers rapidly around the vehicle and causes a vapor cloud. But yeah, I think it's either around the vehicle going supersonic or around max Q. And Trevor, you can correct me if you want here in a second if you desire to. But first, we're going to say bye to Max. So Max, have fun operating the camera. Good luck, Godspeed, and thanks for trying to pull this off for us.
Everybody in chat, cross your fingers, cross your toes, cross everything you got. And it's almost game time.
Yeah, kiss your lucky rabbit foot. Do the ritual, put on the lucky underwear, whatever you got to do in chat to to add on additional luck. Do we have a clover emoji? Seriously, this is fingers crossed this works. Trevor.
Yeah, back to the question. So the vapor cone, if that's what they're alluding to, is caused by going through the transonic region, so going from subsonic to supersonic.
Yep.
It has nothing to do with max Q. Max Q just happens to be around the same time.
Got it. Alrighty. Look at those fairings. Those are some well-used fairings.
Those are flight-proven fairings for sure.
Do we know? Because SpaceX doesn't really release this kind of stuff super publicly, but do we know the status of the fairings on this flight? How many times they've flown? That sort of thing.
Unfortunately, not. SpaceX no longer tells us how many times or what missions the fairings have flown.
Yeah, sometimes they have like the fairing art on there that's faded or slightly painted over, and you can kind of divine, oh, this is this set of fairings, or this is this fairing half, anyways, because they don't live as like a monogamous set for their entire lives, for lack of a better way to put that. They can be swapped out. So yeah, it's hard. It gets hard to identify the fairings after a point, but either way, these are clearly flight-proven fairings. So booster on its 9th flight, second stage on its first flight, of course, and fairings unknown. Booster going to land on Just Read the Instructions out in the Atlantic, just east and south of the Bahamas. How many Starlink satellites, Trevor?
52.
52.
V1.5.
And that will, oh, thank you, V1.5. And that'll bring our total to, what do you say, 4,000? Do the math again.
So total launched, this will be 4,595. Sorry, it's late. I'm doing math is hard. And then total in orbit will be 4,269.
Nice. All right, 2.5 minutes to go, and we are about to see the 2-minute purge, right? It's sort of similar to the 20-minute purge.
Yeah, except for now fueling, I believe LOX load should be complete on first stage. So prop load is complete on first stage, and prop load will soon be complete on the second stage, which leads to the venting of the transport erector lines.
Excellent, and that should be any moment here. I'm getting very excited.
Yeah, also, in this shot, I believe in the middle of the payload fairing, that is the re-radiation antenna, so that allows for SpaceX to communicate with payloads while they're encapsulated in the fairing.
Yeah, because the fairing is not exactly the most RF transparent structure, so you need to have a little pass-through antenna, basically, right?
Yeah. There's probably another one on the bottom side of the fairing halves, but it's kind of hard to tell.
Makes sense. All right, stage 1 LOX load is complete. Prop load is complete for the first stage, and stage 2 LOX load is complete. Prop load is complete on the entire rocket. Thank you for that, Alex. So here we go, 1 minute and 20 seconds. And chat, so you all know, we are trying for that lunar transit shot. It may work, it may not work. Either way, we are going to give it a try. Transit should occur at roughly T plus 38 seconds. Our clock is not 100% exact. We're doing our best. But just for y'all's situational awareness, that is what we're looking at. T minus a minute to go. Oh my goodness. Starlink 511. Shine on us tonight with this super awesome transit shot. Please, 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 please.
It's crazy how, despite this being SpaceX's 40th launch of the year, it's still exciting.
Right, and it's also crazy that they've launched 40 already this year, and we're not even halfway through the year yet. It's kind of bonkers. Well, I guess we're kind of halfway there now, but either way, we're halfway and they're at 40. T minus 23 seconds. Let's do this. Good luck, Max. Thank you again to all of our members and everyone watching as we try something cool for this Starlink launch. T minus 10. We are go for launch. And that should be ignition. There you go.
There it goes.
Falcon 9 has cleared the towers. There she goes, climbing into the sky, hopefully to transit in front of the moon here in just about like 10 seconds. Here we go. That's awesome.
Look at the exhaust. That is a gorgeous shot.
That heat distortion. That was really cool.
Fantastic work, Max.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. That looked really cool. All right. Keeping my composure, or attempting to after seeing something like that, Falcon 9 is heading downrange and rapidly speeding up. Are we through max Q yet? I forget at what time max Q occurs for a launch such as this.
Max Q should be around T plus 1 minute and 12 seconds, so.
There you go. And you can see that that vapor cone, or whatever you want to call it, the exhaust plume that we were talking about earlier, happening. And one of the coolest things about such launches is now we get to see, because there's no clouds or anything in the sky, the exhaust plume on Falcon 9 expand as the vehicle heads higher and higher and higher into the atmosphere. Man, that was a cool shot. Max, I don't know when you're going to be back, but when you're back, just feel free to chime in at will and let me know how you're feeling.
Hey, we're back right now, and the rumble's just now starting to hit us. Oh my goodness! Wow.
That was awesome. Were you shooting photos and video, or just video?
Yes, sir. So I was shooting. Of course, we have our camera here, and oh my goodness, look at that atmospheric exhaust expansion.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I have still camera with me as well, and then I also did slow-mo video on my camera. Oh my goodness, the blue.
Yeah, that's beautiful. All right. Well, thank you once again, Max, for doing that. Absolutely excellent work. I cannot wait to see your posts
And
on Twitter
Miko.
and whatnot.
Wow.
There you go. And there's Miko.
You could very clearly see there the staggered shutdown of the engines. That was gorgeous.
And here we go for stage SEP. Good SEP. First stage falls away. Second stage starting up its engine. There goes the stiffener ring off the nozzle because it's not the stubby nozzle. Completely nominal. Always get questions about that. Fairing SEP. And there you can see the stack of 52 Starlink satellites heading into space. Is that the light from the second stage on the first stage?
Yes, it
That's
is.
beautiful. Gorgeous. Oh, and there's a really great shot. I think this is, what is this, auto track of the second stage heading into orbit. That's beautiful.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Excellent stuff. All right. Well, first stage is now going to head back to just read the instructions and land on that, while the second stage, once again, is going to continue to push these satellites into space.
I'm geeking out so hard right now.
Yeah, I don't know how you're even not just like screaming. That was really cool.
And also right now, the fairing halves will be floating back down for a recovery at around T plus 45 minutes. And SpaceX did confirm that one fairing half is flying for the 4th time and the other is flying for the 5th.
Excellent. Thank you for that. Wait, so you said 45 minutes. That doesn't mean that it takes the fairings 45 minutes to come back, right? It's just that's when they get them, or do they take that long?
Splashdown is around 45 minutes after launch.
Wow. I mean, is that because of the parachutes, or because they release later than the first stage? Or I have questions. I have fairing questions.
Yeah, I wish SpaceX would talk more about their fairing recovery because it is very, very cool. But when they've talked about it in the past, I believe it's just they deploy the parachutes so high and have them float down so slowly that it takes just a while to get down from the, roughly 100-kilometer max altitude of them.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and I do wish they would talk about that particular thing more, but at the same time, it's kind of like one of those things that no one else is even seemingly close to doing. So it's like, why would you give anybody a leg up whatsoever?
Yeah, SpaceX was pretty vocal about it when they were trying to catch the fairings with Go Miss Tree and Go Miss Chiff. But then after they got rid of those 2 ships and have started fairing recovery with Bob and Doug, they seem to not care as much anymore.
Yeah, I miss those boats, man. The net boats. This was so cool.
It's such a wild idea.
Thank you, dude. Yeah.
All right, we are coming up on the entry burn for the first stage. Max, I think we're getting a little bit of a hot mic from you there, guy.
You were. I was just giving a fellow photog a hug.
Aw, who was it, if I may ask?
That was Sir Michael Caine.
Nice. Good stuff. I'm very excited to see your work when you post it on Twitter. What's for our viewers? What's your Twitter handle, Max?
So my Twitter handle is simply _ and then my 4 initials, which are MGDE, followed by another _.
Mango Dog Gomez Echo. Got it.
You say Mango? Oh my gosh, the entry burn!
Yep, there we go. We can see it starting up. Sounds like Max can see it with his eyes as well.
We can see it clear as ever right now.
Nice.
Holy guacamole!
All right, Trevor. Do we know what engine, what type of burn this is? Is this a 131, or is it 1 engine? Is it 1? Is it 3? Is it what's the?
Yeah, so this the entry burn on this mission starts with the center engine and then quickly later ignites engines 1 and engine 5. So E1, E5, and E9 will be firing, and then shuts them all down. So it's 1 and then 3. And then the
Excellent.
landing burn, which is coming up in a few seconds, will be just with a single engine for this mission.
Excellent. Yeah, and so that entry burn is done to protect the first stage as it hits the atmosphere, the thicker parts of the atmosphere. It's like fighting fire with fire, which is super, super neat.
Yeah, it's very cool. A lot of people think that the main reason that they do the entry burn is to slow the vehicle down, and that's definitely helps a lot, but it is more to just create a heat shield with the exhaust plume, which is wild.
It's like, what's better than insanely hot temperatures? Just hot temperatures. All right, second stage continuing to do its job. You can see its speed on the right-hand side increasing. First stage continuing to do its thing and come back and land as its speed rapidly decreases, just under 5 kilometers. So we should hopefully get a view from SpaceX of landing here in just a second, but we are moments away from that landing burn. Once again, the booster is landing on just read the instructions. Here we go. Landing burn has started. I don't see the drone ship yet. It's one of those where it's going to appear out of the mists. Oh, that's a great shot. Bullseye. You love to see it.
Excellent. And that marks SpaceX's 199th booster landing and 125th consecutive booster landing.
Excellent. They make it look easy.
We are 1 landing away from SpaceX landing 200 Falcon 9s. That is crazy.
Yeah, that's wild. It'll have landed more times than many, many rockets have flown.
Yes.
Which is just wild.
With that, we just saw SECO 1, so the stage will now enter a roughly 45-minute coast until T plus 54 minutes and 6 seconds, when the second stage will ignite its Merlin engine for roughly 2 seconds before shutting down and deploying the Starlink satellites at 1 hour and 5 minutes after liftoff.
Thank you, Trevor. All right. Let's see here. Molly Miriam's 14 minutes ago, right before liftoff, gifted 20 more Red Team memberships. So thank you again, Molly, for your first contribution and for this one. Sorry we did not get to that before liftoff, but we were obviously nerding out about the whole moon thing. But seriously, thank you so much. That's 40 people who were on this stream in chat who got memberships that otherwise wouldn't have them. So all you people enjoy the sweet perks. Thank Molly in chat and Molly from all of us at NSF. Thank you so much. Charles, thank you for grabbing some stuff from the store. What did they get a print? Because, last chance. Yeah, they did. Good job. I don't want anyone to jump into my DMs and be like, I wanted this one and it's gone. They're gonna be gone. They're gonna be gone. So, get it while you can in the next hour or two before Adrian wakes up.
Oh, poor Adrian.
Right? He's gonna wake up and be like, what happened?
The 3 a.m. Starlink is what happened.
Exactly. They hit different. You said they hit different.
They do, and tonight did.
It did. It really did. Hang Time Central, thank you for the super chat. They said, just spent pre-launch making the SpaceX Quindar tone. My text alert, I regret nothing. Ooh.
Very nice.
I'll take things I need to do for $500, Bob, or whatever the joke there is. All right. Well, once again, Max, thank you so much for pulling that off for us. That was excellent. Can't wait to see your shots on Twitter. And once again, everybody follow Max at MDGE.
Correction there. It's MG.
I'm a failure.
It's all good. It's all good. We still love you.
Thank you. But once again, Max, thanks. And there you can see on screen his Twitter. We also had on commentary tonight, Trevor. Trevor, thank you for sharing your knowledge and insights with us tonight.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Indeed. And in the background, we had Kevin operating tonight's stream. Thank you, Kevin, for doing all you do for NSF. Couldn't do it without you, buddy. You can see Kevin's info on screen there. And I, of course, as this ship from Amsterdam is obscuring the launch pad, I am Jack Beyer for NSF. And that has been another Starlink stream. Does anyone, before we wrap, want to try and pronounce that name? No? All right. Thanks, everyone, for watching. We will see you next time.
And here we go. We have liftoff.
Propulsion continues to be nominal.
RS-68 chamber pressure looks good.
Following up. Roger, planet.
Water towers, fly! Yes! Tango down to nominal.
Flight downside SPD off. Say again, SPD off. It's orange! Orange 25! Oh my god! Oh my god! Decollage! What is it? Put that in the big bag,
343 unfolds to go.
Indeed.
We rise together back to the moon and beyond.
This methane will be igniting in the flare, correct?
Yikes. You good? We don't need any more of these.
And here we go.